Welcome back to part 3 of my Pokeball making series. If you saw the last video, you know it ended with a disaster. So I decided to start again from the very beginning. So I took all the parts out and bought a new ball. Now first, I bought a Forstner bit to make a clean buttonhole cut. The holes you saw in the previous build were basically my practice ones before this one. Now the dowel you see is what I will be using as the button part. Now after drilling with the Forstner bit, I used a hole saw to make a groove. It might not be clear what it does, but later you will see exactly what I'm trying to do. Last time up to the disaster moment, I had already been thinking about how I would approach the project if I ever had to redo it. And then the buttonhole disaster happened. So I decided, okay, let's actually put that idea into action. Now, what you are seeing is one of those ideas. After cutting the ball in half with the back saw, I brought out the mini table saw finally to cut the middle groove. Now I'm doing it this way instead of adding another ring like last time, because if you watch the last video, that extra ring made the whole ball look kind of over. Now I was kind of taking a gamble by using the mini table saw to cut the middle groove, but now you can see what I was trying to do. After a couple of more passes to make the groove wider, and after repeating the same cuts on the other half of the ball, it actually turned out really good. I was honestly very satisfied, and more importantly, my client, my son, was very satisfied as well. The part where I made the groove with the hole saw wasn't lining up perfectly with the middle groove, so I used the hole saw again to make it a little deeper. And now you can finally see what I was trying to do earlier. Since the hole saw doesn't exactly give you a clean cut, it's more like a close enough cut. So I grabbed my knife and cleaned it up. From this point on, it's basically a repeat of the last video. Drilling the hole for the barrel hinge, tracing the closet light panel, all that good stuff. But this time, I used a Forstner bit to drill out the section for the light panel instead of a regular drill. Way more efficient and way cleaner. I also picked up a chisel to carve out the rest of the area. I bought both the Forstner bit set and the chisel set from Harbor Freight, each under 10 bucks. So they are pretty much my go-to store for the beginner tools. Now Harbor Freight, if you guys are listening, sponsor. Now the light panel fits. So next up, time for the cover. Since there wasn't any extra room this time because I didn't add the ring like last time, I decided to cut the cover to fit the rectangular hole perfectly. Now the reason I used the special sound effect my son's made, well, honestly it was because it was ugly. My son also said the previous circle shape looked way better. So I decided to make another cover, but first I'm taking out the magnet from the previous build. I don't think I recorded this part last time. Instead of putting the magnet in front of the ball like I did before, I decided to move it to the middle. Because the button should be in the front. Yeah, still dealing with button problem. I originally installed the magnet in the front because I didn't have a full plan at the beginning. I was just improvising as I went, so of course there were a lot of mistakes and constant adjustment. That's what happens when you don't have a plan. Anyway, thankfully the light panel has a metal part in the middle and the magnet attached perfectly. So I installed the magnet right in the middle of the upper half of the sphere. And it looks good. Alright, it's cover time again. I cut out a circle using the same plastic lid as before. After trimming and sanding it for a more diffuse look, I traced the cover onto the piece. Then I grabbed my chisel to carve out the portion where the cover would sit. Now it took me a long time to carve out that section, but after a lot of careful chisel work, fitting, adjusting, checking, and rechecking, and I finally got it carved out just the way I wanted. And I thought that I was done, but no. Did you notice the extra circle hole from the plastic lid? Yeah, I made another one. While I was cutting the cover to fit, it cracked. And I couldn't let it go, so of course I had to trace and cut one more time. And finally, it fits nicely. Now you can see there are little gaps here and there between the cover and the ball. I'll be filling those with wood filler at the end. And now, finally, it's time for the button. I'll be using this dowel to make the ring that the button will sit in. And the button itself, this was the most important part. I actually found this perfect little plastic piece to use as the button. Now can you guess what it is? It's a glue stick cap. Just like the light cover, I searched the whole house looking for something that would work. Something cylinder shape, white plastic, and hopefully able to let the light shine through. Why? Because I thought the closed light inside the Pokeball could shine through the button and make it look like the button lights up. And honestly, I wasn't even thinking about glue stick at the time. But as I was looking around, this thing caught my eye. And it was literally perfect for what I needed. For now, I cut the dowel down to a workable size and drilled out the circular hole using my new Forstner bit. Then I cut it to the exact size with the back saw so it will fit perfectly. Now originally, I was just going to glue the button onto the ring. Simple. But my son asked me if I could make the button clickable. So then I had to do a lot of thinking, like a lot, to figure out how to make the button click and still let the light shine through from inside. Now you will see how I solved that in a moment. Now after sanding the ring, I test fitted it on the front of the ball where the button will go. The ring was just a little bigger than the hole I drilled, so I marked the areas that needed more space and went back in with the Forstner bit to open it up a bit more. After sanding, I test fitted it again, and this time I like it. Now it's time for the clickable mechanism. So what I did was drilled out a space in the upper half of the ball and put this small gadget inside. Now what is it? Well, once again, I did a full search around the house looking for something, anything that could make a clickable button. And this time the victim was a small flashlight. Another sacrifice for the Pokeball. So after taking apart the clickable part from the flashlight and installing it into the space, I super glued a small half-cylinder piece of wood onto the end of the glue stick cap. That little piece is what actually pushes the clicker. And here is the close-up of the piece. And the reason I didn't fill the whole cap with wood is because I wanted to avoid blocking the light from inside. So basically I didn't want that wooden piece to cast a shadow to the button. You will see exactly what I mean later. Right now I'm cutting out the cap so it becomes a half cylinder. Since I can't make space at the bottom of the Pokeball because of the closet light panel, this setup lets the button stay attached to the ring while the upper half of the ball can still close properly. Now everything is finally done. I filled the gaps with wood filler, sanded where needed, and the button sits nicely in place. I also added the rectangular plastic piece from the lid to keep it secure. Now, the moment of truth? Yes, pushing the button feels so good and that click sound is so satisfying. Okay, now the moment that I've been waiting for. Watch closely and see how the button lights up. How cool is that? Remember earlier when I mentioned the shadow issue? Since the wooden piece doesn't cover the whole button, there is no shadow at all. And it's perfect. And there's more. The light panel is from a motion sensor cloud light. That means if you shake the ball, it lights up and you can see the button glow. But my favorite part, if you push the button, it also lights up because the sensor senses the movement inside the ball. Now how cool is that? Even with all the hiccups and me improvising like crazy, I love how this turned out. And the best part, my son's reaction. He was so excited and I was really thankful. It honestly made all the chaos worth it. Alright, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to comment below, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Next time we are moving on to painting and the next steps in the project.